So what I want to show you today is an idea that a lot of people have come to me about and asked to build. But my stance on this was pretty like a hard no because of the name of it. It's a copy bot. So Solana copy bot. Um, just inherently, as you know, my stance on using somebody else's strategy or copying somebody else's strategy and algorithmic trading, I always refer to it as, hey, yo, if there's $1 million in the corner and I tell 1,000 people about it, that $1 million is going to be gone, right? Same thing with a trading strategy. If I show you 1,000 people a strategy and they all run it, it's eventually going to converge to zero. So a Solana copy bot, it just sounded so bad to me this whole time. But then I started to look into it more, and I see there might be some substance behind it because it's not necessarily copying somebody's strategy. It's finding a list of traders that have success in the past and they bought tokens early, and maybe like you see, okay, there's a bunch of traders here that bought this token here early and made 10,000x, and they did it with 5 other tokens, and at the end of the day they have a win rate of X amount. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. So you can see here, this is actually outputting a bunch of transactions that traders that I'm following are making. You can see people to follow. I have this CSV here and it connects to GMGN. Sorry, that link's not going to work, but you can see GMGN is a platform that allows you to kind of track to see how traders have done. And you can see this guy in the last 7 days has a 44% win rate and 864% return. Now, the premise behind this, and I haven't totally finished my bot, but I've gotten the important part done, which is being able to track traders, find them early, and essentially what I'm going to show you today is how to find any token. Look at any token and find, like, for example, like WIF, for example, if we could find the earliest buyers of WIF, they might have known something that, you know, we don't know. So I don't know if maybe they're a bot, maybe they're an insider or whatever, but if we knew who got in these first hours, well, they might do it again. They might do it again with another token and another token. So that's the whole premise. And I see some people on Twitter doing well with this, turning one soul into 30 or one soul into 50. And essentially, it seems like it comes down to the people that you follow. So as of today, the way that I've done this is I've built a tool that essentially I can put in any token like WIF and then discover these first few days of buyers who is buying here. Because theoretically, now again, I haven't implemented this system yet, but I do have a lot to show you that you can then go ahead and build your strategy on. Theoretically, if they do this multiple times, you'll be able to see their win rate. Okay, 50%. Well, that's actually not bad if I always back this guy. And there's others in here, for example, that will have higher win rates. So that's kind of the whole premise. But again, like, this all comes down to the strategy that you put in. And at the end of the day, my list is going to be entirely different than your list. And there's going to be a ton of other things. And when I'm talking lists, I'm talking what traders would my bot be copying? Well, that's going to be different than yours. So our strategies are going to be different inherently. Okay. Also on entry, are you following these people on their entry and exit? Well, your idea and my idea are going to be different. Maybe I'll follow on entry and not on exit, while maybe you'll follow on entry and close after 20%, or maybe somebody else will follow on entry and never close, or maybe somebody else will follow. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I started to get a little warmer to the idea, because really what I've noticed is at the end of this, I just get a list of pretty like solid traders, their moves every day. So I get to see their transactions each day. So you can kind of see like, okay, well, Now you can build a strategy based off of their moves. And since we're all going to be attacking it a little differently, that this is actually something shareable. So let me go ahead. This might take a couple weeks in the inner circle in order to show you all of this code. I will go ahead and pull this over to the side, and it's multiple files. And let's actually go over the files first so you can understand how this is all going to work together. Let's go here to the README. And you can see we have a main.py where I'll be able to put any contract address in, so any token address on Solana. Then we'll be able to run it to see the early buyers of a token. You can configure the size, the minimum size that they bought. So in the case of, for example, WIF, like early WIF buyers, I just wanted to see who bought who spent $3,000 in the first couple of days, because that 3,000 is up like, 75 times. See what I'm saying? So that's going to be the first file. I'll definitely be able to show you that today. And then hopefully I'll be able to show you filter data as well, because I'm using Bird Eye in order to get the early buyers of a token. So again, the premise behind this, because I know this might be new to you, is early buyers of a token that's gone 1000x, they may have information I don't have. Maybe they're an insider, maybe they are a bot, a sniper bot, and maybe whatever. But if they do that over and over and over again, that proves that they're like, okay, a decent trader. So that's what the main file does. And I'm going to go over that right now. And then I'm going to also show you how to filter that data. And hopefully I can keep going after that. If not, then I'll come back with another day of this. Let's go here to Visual Studio Code. And within Visual Studio Code, I have my main file, which is main.py. And then I have a don't share file. The don't share file just has my Bird Eye API key in it. So you do need a Bird Eye API key, and I understand that is kind of expensive. Inside of the Sniper Discord, I am willing to share my Bird Eye API key with like a few people, just that it's kind of tight on the limits. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check that Sniper chat. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this first part of code out for you, because this main file is very important and it will get you up and running with something immediately. So again, if you're not in Quant Elite, you're not going to get this code directly, but you can, do what you need to do to copy it. You can see I'm bringing in import don't share as D here, and then I have the configurations. So I have this is the address. So for whatever token I wanted to grab it from, for example, if I wanted to see the first buyers of WIF, I have this date, so it's set so far back. I could actually make it set even further back. So automatically it's just going to go ahead and get the first few days of it. There is a limit on how many calls you can have. So it's 5,000. So essentially having this early start date essentially just gets the data of the start. So whenever the token was launched. And then you can see here, we're converting some date time strings to objects. And then we're just making out some prints here. And then here's the first main function. So this is the trades function. And this is how you call the Bird Eye API. So I want to make sure you can see all that in here. You can see I pass in my key, which I set here. And again, my Bird Eye key is in this don't share config right here. Don't share.py as this equals the key. So I have a file called don't share.py, and it literally says this in it with my API key. And then you can see here, I connect to it. So this gets the trades here. And then we'll go down to process trades, which is quite big. So I'll try to go slowly through it. So this essentially is processing all the trades that we get back from Bird Eye. So Bird Eye gives us all the trades, 50 at a time. And we're going backwards with the oldest first, and then we have to process them. So I'll give you a chance to see this code here. You can see we're getting the UI amount because we're trying to get the actual size, trade size USD here, because we want to know, hey, is it over our total amount? Essentially, I just want to see the people who spent a good amount here. So, you know, if something's gone 100x and they put $3,000 in it, they're probably a whale by now if they held on. So you can see my minimum is 3,000. You can change this how you want. A lot of these things can be changed in order to tweak this process and bring your own strategy to it. So you can see this processes the data, and then here it just loops until it gets everything. You can see it outputs the GMGN address, which is nice, the link, so you can just open it right up and see, you know, what is their win rate, what is their last 7 days, 30 days, and so on and so on. So the things I was looking at, now I'm not the best with GMGN. I was looking at win rate and then the last 30 days P&L, just to kind of get a feeling of if they were a good trader or not. So now you've seen that whole process trades function. Now this is the final function here. This actually runs the code, and I'll go slow through it as well. It's called start search. And you can see, you know, I just put a timer there to see how long it would take. We have an output folder here. So, you know, your output folder corresponds to up here. Okay. And we just make a list for all trades. We start at offset of 0. The offset is essentially trying to get the number of transactions. So I want the last 50, then I want the last 100. So while true here, we get the trades. And then we just have some error handling here. And then you can see we change the offset. So first it's going to be 50, and then it's going to be the 100, then it's going to be 150, and so on and so on. So you can see all that code. And then if it processes the trades here, it'll say if trades found in range. We change the offset. A little protection here if maximum trades. And then we save it all to a DF, and we output this DF here to a CSV file. Now that CSV file is awesome because, let's see here, it's essentially going to allow us to see what, you know, if I go to the CSV up here, puts it in the data folder, and it's going to be able, we're going to be able to see something like this. You can see here, it gives us all the trades. So all the traders, essentially, I can open this up and I can see every single trader that traded over the size that I wanted, which is 3,000. See that on the left side, minimum size. You can see that all of these traders here for this token, they all traded over 3,000 in those first couple days of it being launched. Now, again, the thought process behind this is, oh, if you bought a 1,000x token in the first couple days, what do you know that I don't know? Now, I haven't gone out and proven that, hey, this is going to work to just copy everybody, but that's where your strategy comes into play. Is it about copying everybody? Is it copying only a portion of them? Do we need to make sure that things are the actual the asset they purchased? Do we need to make sure that the asset is over the moving average? It's trending. These are just some ideas that I'm thinking about as I'm looking into implement something like this. But I wanted to give you the hard pieces here so you can just go ahead and start running with your ideas. So you saw the whole first page here, and it will output the traders here into this folder. So you have to have a data folder. So you'll need to make a data folder here, and it will output into that folder. Okay, but now you see I have a filtered folder because a lot of these are duplicates, and there's some other changes that I have here. So I want to go ahead and show you, as long as I still have some time, I want to show you how to at least get the filter done as well. So yeah, I think this is going to be a couple weeks of or a couple different videos here to show you everything, as this is a lot, but I'm glad I'm going to be able to give you the first couple parts here today. Let's go to the README again, and let's just walk through how the filter data works. So filter data, after you run this, you get everything into the data, right? These are all of the traders that traded in the first few days of a token launch, the token that you picked and you put right here in this main.py. Okay, you're all caught up. So now the next step is we have another file called filter data. And this removes all the duplicates and it organizes the data in a way that's easier to work better with. So you're able to see, okay, now this is these are much more easier to work with because there's less tokens on them, or there's less traders on them because there's a ton of duplicates. So in order to do that, we need to make this file called filterdata.py. And that will essentially be the second step to this. So here you can see, I'm just going to click filter data.py, and then let's start bringing in some of this code so you can see it. I know I'm running low on time. I want to keep these brief as always. And we're going to first make a couple simple imports here. And essentially here, I'm going to put in this text as well so you can understand. Essentially, this is going to be dedicated to filtering the data. Again, we have the folder, the data folder here with all the lot of duplicates, and we're going to essentially make this filtered data folder just so we can keep working on this bot. But this will take you to a good place to at least get the first traders, and then you can bring your own ideas. And then next week we will dive even deeper. So you can see here, I double pasted that, but now we just process the CSV file path here. And then this is a super simple file. It's just a little bit of filtering. I wanted to make this a little easier so you can see all the code actually on the screen right now. So we're just going through the folder. And again, you're going to have to make a folder like this, data. And then in that folder, you can put filtered. You can see that I'm calling these two here. I mean, I'm not using the right, I'm using cursor over here, so mine aren't perfect, but it should be a data and a filtered folder. And there you go. So I think I actually have time to get one more of these files in. I'm going to click pause on this timer, and I'm just going to show you one more of these files because there are, I think, 5 of them. And if I can get the first few to you today, that would be amazing. Let's go to the README here. And so that filter should take these ones and filter them nicely and put them here in the filtered. Okay, you got that. Then by hand, I went through all of these links in the filtered. So I went ahead and I said reveal in Finder. Now, maybe you can do this algorithmically, or any ideas that you have here. This was a part that I was like, okay, well, I'm doing this part by hand. I mean, maybe I could do this a little more algorithmically, but this worked really well for me. So I'm just going to show you what's worked well for me. And this is just one token. You can see it's Billy, and this is the filtered data for Billy, and you can see the owner for all of them. So Billy was an example of one that was a long time ago. So there's a lot of trades here. And, essentially what I can do is these are all of the traders that bought Billy, which is some obscure token that's done pretty well. And they bought them in the first few days. So they're up, hundreds of X. What do they know that I don't know? I don't know. So are these people to copy directly? I don't know about that either. So what I did is I went through by hand and I said, okay, well, let's open all these up real quick and see if they pass my eye, and I'm using GMGN, which is a new tool for me. But how do they pass my eye? Well, I was looking at these types of things. I looked at the win rate. I looked at the P&L, and I also looked at the diversity of wins. So you can see here, like this guy here, 65 days ago, This guy 1 hour ago, and his P&L is minus 5.6, so it's not the best. This guy has a 30-day P&L of 99%, but it's 65 days ago. He's not really trading. This guy has a P&L of 42%. He's not going to make my final list, So this is why this was important, because some of these early buyers aren't necessarily good traders. This guy has a win rate of 80%, 40%. Okay. I like to see around 50% or more. But this is just how I'm analyzing it to this day. And, I've only been at this for a week, but the whole point of this is to anytime I find something new, I got to show you ASAP. So he has a huge ROI. So it might be somebody that I'm interested in following. So what I did here is, if they were interesting, I would go ahead and I would put these on a people to follow CSV. So here I would say people to follow.csv. And this is the part by hand that I did. And essentially, I was able to just put URL, and notes here. And I would just literally put the URL in there. I'd just say, okay, well, this guy looks solid. So maybe I will follow him later. Maybe. Again, this is multiple filterings. I just wanted to show you a couple of the ideas I had when filtering, and I'm sure you'll have plenty of ideas. Like 37 days ago, I just get them out of here ASAP. Some of them don't show win rate. 42 days ago, 54 days ago, 88 days ago, 33 minutes ago. Okay, so this is more interesting. Now you can see there's no win rate, but hey, I don't know if this guy would make my list, but I just wanted to show you some ways I am briefly looking at it. 50% win rate. He may have already made the list. And you can see buy of these tokens. Are they interesting? I don't know. We can go ahead here and open up another one. Let's do that. Just while we have a little bit of time here. Let's say reveal in Finder. Here's another one. And I could just open these up. And I'm essentially just kind of giving, I like doing this, but I like this part by hand because I'm honestly just trying to figure out how to make an algo off this. So I have to figure out how to use all of these tools, right? So 30-day, you can see 46 days ago. I'm just going to get out of here because he's not even trading. This guy has a 50% win rate, 17% win rate. That's pretty low, but then his 58% return is interesting. So this total P&L 270K is interesting. What I would also look at here, you can see 2 days ago, 8 minutes. It looks like he's a person. I would also look at the diversity of realized profits. So it looks like he made 53K here, 26K, 1500. So there's a little diversity. I don't love this one because of his low win rate. I actually really don't like that at all. But I just want to show you how I would fill this out. So I'm just adding the ones, and you see why I put a filter there. It's a filter of like my mind, I guess. And I'm sure there's a way to scrape GMGN for the win rate, 30-day P&L, but I like to kind of do this by hand to start. You can see this guy has a 4.5% win rate, total P&L 29K. And this guy has a 506K return, win rate of 92%. What usually happens here, and I haven't even started with this process really to how to follow these guys, but you can see if they have a super high win rate, it's usually a bot. And how can I prove that this is a bot? If they're buying and then selling the same asset within seconds or minutes, it's usually a bot. Now, these are like arbitrage bots that are buy and sell, or they're sandwich attack bots that are just buy and sell. And you can see that 4 minutes, same asset. 7 minutes, same asset. USDC, 9 minutes, same asset. I'm assuming those are bots. So I actually made another file, bots to study here. .csv, and I did the same thing. So URL and notes, but I'm not going to take any action on this for now. Just paste it in there. Okay, so you kind of see how to set up the people to follow. You just go through all of these lists. Now, out of these lists, like I made a pretty good list here, people to follow. So you can see with time, I got 51 people that out of these lists here of not random tokens, but tokens that have done well over the past like 6 months, I put them in here. I got the early buyers, which I already showed you the code for here in the main.py, and then I filtered them to get them down to here, and then I opened them up by hand in order to put them on my final list here of people to follow. Now that we're at people to follow, we can go check our README here, and you can see that's the one by hand step. Now, next, I'm going to show you how to create the copy CSV. This file added a soul scan link to it and to the bots to study and bots to follow. So I'll show you that one really quickly because that one's not going to take too much time. But the next ones I'll have to show you another time because I know we're getting short on time here. So create copy CSV, and let's just show you that code really quickly, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. So create copy. This essentially added a CSV, or it's added a soul scan link to bots to study and people to follow. So it's nothing crazy here. And you can see how my people to follow have this soul scan link now, and it also has the wallet address. So the wallet address is important because later, if we're using this CSV to buy or sell things, we need the wallet address to be able to follow that wallet and see the changes in their address. You know what I'm saying? So that will be essential, essentially. So let me just show you that code to get the actual create copy of the data and then make the wallet address. So this one's not too hard. Again, you'll have to bring in your paths here, load in your bots to study and people to follow. You saw I only put one on bots to study. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Maybe later in 2025, I will look at that list of bots because that's more in MEV, which is a difficult game, but it seems very fun and it's it's correlated to algorithmic trading for sure. So we'll see if we do that later. I'm just saving them for now. People to follow are the ones that I plan to make my bot off of. Now it's just a little bit more code here. I know I've shown you a lot, and there you go. So that's the end. You can see there. You'll now have a outputted list here of people to follow or potentially follow, and you'll have to kind of build your algorithm around this. Many ideas, some things I'm playing with is like, okay, well, let's look at all of these users, see what their recent trades are, and you can see that I've gone ahead and I'm looking at their recent trades down here. I'll have to show you that another time, but it's going to take 2 more scripts, and those scripts are kind of long, so I want to walk you through them. But for now, you can kind of be inspired. But the things I'm thinking of are like, hey, they are buying tokens, but I don't really plan on buying every single token that somebody on my people to follow buys, right? I want to be a little more careful than that. I think some copy traders just buy everything their list buys and sells when they sell. Is that the best way to do it? I don't know. Or is it better to look at it like, oh, okay, well, this is a good list of tokens. For example, you can see here recent transactions. This list is ever growing. So right now, there's like, every day, this is running 15 minutes a day, and or every 15 minutes. And you can see it's a bunch of tokens, a lot of duplicates, of course. But is the better play to make sure that they're trending? I would assume that I'm going to go with a method of like, hey, okay, here's my list of people to follow. Here's all their transactions every day. But am I going to buy all of them? No, I'm not. I think that's risky. I'm going to buy ones that are trending, continuing the trend. So maybe I'll check back on them. But we'll pick up where we left off another day. This was a lot, and I want to keep these nice and short. So much love, and I'll see you in the next one.